Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys some tips on how to find housing or in an apartment in DC. Hey y'all, so you're Funmi-Layo. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to like this video because it helps other people see the video, and make sure to subscribe because we have awesome content on this channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys some tips on how to find housing or in an apartment in DC. Alright, so let's just go ahead and get into it. So if you don't already know, or if you're new to this channel, just know I have like a bunch of DC videos, life in DC videos, questions about DC. So just go ahead and watch. I have a Life in DC vlog playlist and just a playlist about life in Washington DC, where it's more conversational and more giving tips and things like that, or just listing my experience basically. But yeah, let's go ahead and get that out of the way. But anyways, when you're looking for housing in DC, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you some of the things that I encountered and things that worked for me and things that didn't work for me. So I know that the first thing that a lot of people seem to do is ask their friends or people they know, like, hey, what's your apartment like? How is it? And this is good because it does let you know what other people's living situations are firsthand from somebody who's there. Because, like, you know, maybe the apartments are not going to advertise things like bugs or roaches or, you know, all that extra that you just don't want to deal with. And the person that lives there will be better able to tell you, like, what's the concierge like if you're living in one of those like high-rise type of buildings, or just like the apartments that have concierge, and like how is the maintenance, like how easy is it to get things fixed. Because trust me y'all, that is something that's super important when you are looking for housing in DC, and just housing in general. You want to know all of these things, because it sucks if you have an issue in your apartment and you can't find somebody who is gonna like help fix it quickly. But which is why a lot of people tend to go for apartment complexes that are like owned by, I'm not sure the name of it, but like, you know, those big apartment complexes, just so that they'll have somebody who they can let know about issues in the apartment, and you can have a speedy fix, you know? So that's one way that I know a lot of people ask before they look into the whole housing and everything like that. But another thing that really the first thing you should do is figure out, what do you want? Write down a list. So what I did personally was I wrote down a list of everything that I wanted in an apartment building. And you can check out that video of like manifesting my dream apartment. I don't know why I did the quotation, because really it is, but you know, it was God that helped me get to the place that I got. But anyways, write down what you want, and write down like your hard notes, things that you don't want to have in an apartment complex. Once you have that out of the way, you can go ahead and decide, are you looking for an apartment? Are you looking for a townhome? Are you looking for a condo? Okay, so this is kind of going to be catered more to apartments, because that's my personal experience. I can't speak to the other stuff now. You know, I just can't, but some of these stuff will also help you and can be used to find like townhomes and find just houses in general or condos. You can also use this advice, but I just want to let you know it's catered towards apartments. Anyways, once you figure out where you're willing to live, or what kind of housing you want, you can decide, do you want to live in like the high rise or like a big apartment complex, or are you fine living in like one of the kind of row home looking places where they have apartments inside, just so you can get a feel, and then you can research what neighborhoods you want to live in. I will say, me personally, I think the biggest tip, right, if you're looking for housing in DC, if you're looking for an apartment in DC, and especially if you don't drive, let me tell you, the biggest thing is just look on the maps and look to see what's the closest train stops or whatever, like that's closest to your job. Because think about it, you spend majority of your life basically at work, so that commute back and forth every day, you kind of want to make it as seamless as possible. Obviously, if prices of apartments are better other places, it makes more sense, right? If it's more cost effective to live farther away, that makes more sense. But just ideally, if you're able to find a place that meets your budget and that is very close to where you work, which is where you spend the majority of your time, you know, why not? If you like the area you work in DC, and this is assuming that you work in DC. yeah, you can just go ahead and look on the, whether it's like the red line, the yellow line, the green line, whatever line there is, and try to see if you can find apartments near there, or apartments that are accessible to that train stop, or just like or the metro stop. I don't know why I say train, but it is the train, the metro stop, or just on the same line, the train line, because it'll make it easier if you're commuting to work in that way. So that's something to think about when you're thinking about location as to where you live. So I've already talked about like word of mouth, asking people how their experiences are at their apartment buildings and what they're paying and this and that. But another way that I personally used was going online and doing the research myself. So the first place I looked was Zillow, Zillow.com, and they have different, just different websites. I think there's like apartments.com. I'm not sure, but like they have different websites, and I know Zillow is like one of the main ones that I looked at. And I'll just look through and see what apartments are within my budget, right? And when I look and I see things that are within my budget, I then look at the apartments and see if they don't have promotions, like if they're running promotions currently. Because if they are running promotions, like a lot of places are, they'll do like maybe 1 month free, 2 months free, waiving amenity fees, waiving application fees. They have different options like that to make it more cost effective for you. So sometimes if you do look online and you look at these websites and you see an apartment that you'll be like, nah, I can afford that. Hold your horses, okay? Calm down, because you just might be able to. And I'll tell you, that's how I got the apartment that me and my roommate, that's how we got the apartment that we stayed in, because literally they were running a promotion, whereas just the normal amount, it was kind of like, but when they gave that promotion to us, it made sense. It then made sense, and we're like, okay, with the location and with the amount that we're paying and the amenities and everything we receive. And you know how amenities go. And that's one thing I'll let y'all know. Really think about whether you're gonna use the amenities or not, because sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, but still it's nice to have. It's really nice to have. But anyways, yes, so those promotions might make it more cost effective for you. So a place that's like maybe $500 or $1,000 more than your budget, if their promotion will like make it make sense for you. For example, let's say the promotion is 2 months free, and let's say rent is like $3,000 or $2,500 each month, right? So if rent is like $2,500 or $3,000 each month, and they're giving you 2 months free, multiply by 2, let's say, so it's gonna be $5,000 or $6,000. If you spread it out between the length of your lease, let's say it's a 12-month lease or a 16-month or 18-month lease, if you subtract that money by the whole amount of money you pay for the whole lease, the duration of your lease, then divide it to see. I hope I'm not confusing anybody, because I'm kind of confusing myself right now. But basically, you just do the math. You divide it between the amount of months you're going to be paying to see whether, with the money they're giving you off, if you distribute it over the length of your stay at that apartment, whether it makes sense for you to stay there and it's within your budget then when you consider the promotion. Okay? But yes, so that's one way to do things. But I will tell you how I found, because notice I said my roommate. How I found my roommate was through the way that, honestly, I found the apartment, because she did that through, she found the apartment, but we found each other through Facebook groups. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you, Facebook groups for housing is literally my go-to. It's my go-to. Like now that like I have a roommate, like we look online together and for different places and stuff like that. But I noticed that on Facebook, a lot of things are cheaper. And especially if you don't have a roommate, that's a way to find a roommate. So Facebook has been holding me down for years when it comes to finding housing. So because what happens is there are different Facebook groups in DC, so many different Washington DC groups, and people will post saying, hey, I have this apartment open, looking for somebody to take over my lease. And that's a good way to save money. If you take over somebody else's lease, usually they'll give you a couple months free, right? Or they'll pay some of it off for you, and you can take over their lease afterwards, or you can finish the rest of their lease and then you can review it for another period of time, or you can even sublet. I don't know what your situation is, how long you're trying to stay in DC, things like that. That's a way to do it. And you can save a lot of money. I have saved a lot of money and lived in some like pretty nice places because of Facebook groups. So don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on it, because even if you don't want a roommate, you can find like one-bedroom places, studios, one-bedroom apartments, or two-bedroom apartments that you can just stay in without a roommate. But if you don't have a roommate, there are people who are like, hey, I'm interested in, I'm leaving to go get another job or move, whatever people are doing. I'm looking for somebody to take over my lease in an apartment with they'll list how many people are there, whether it's like 2 women, 2 men, like whatever people identify themselves as. They'll list whoever they're living with or how many spots are open, what they're looking for, what they're open to, and they'll just go from there. And you can reach out to them and say, hey, I'm interested, and I've checked out a couple of places that way. And basically they'll have different people come in, and then they'll choose, I guess the roommate that's staying will choose like, hey, I'm feeling her, not feeling her, or like, you know, it works. We have a similar vibe, we don't have a similar vibe. But like with anything with the internet, you gotta be careful though. Like with all of this, you gotta be careful. Facebook kind of helps out because you can kind of see the person's profile, see like, you know, do they have like a list of friends? Like, is there a rapport? Like, is the profile scaring you? You know what I mean? In which case, you just have to, you know, respectfully back out. But it's kind of a way to see. But obviously, you want to kind of fill it out and be safe when you're meeting these people and things like that. But that's a great way. And you can also have conversations. Let me know if you want me to make a video about conversations that you should have with potential roommates. I know you guys seem to like the video, well, it seems to be getting some views, the video that I made about getting a roommate or living alone. So I can make a video about conversations to have if you do choose to have a roommate, in order to figure out like, hey, will this be a good fit? And that's what me and my roommate did. We taught and we're trying to say like, okay, what are your habits? What are your habits? What temperature do you like it? What temperature do I like it? Because depending on the apartment you're staying, there might not be a thermometer in each room. In which case, don't even think that that can't cause an issue, because it can. You know, if you're somebody who likes it cold and somebody else likes it hot, that will be a major issue. And that will literally change the experience of your whole living situation, honestly. That could make you dislike somebody. Maybe, I don't know, maybe. I can imagine, honestly. I can imagine though. But I don't know. Luckily, we're good. Me and my roommate, we're good. Because you have these conversations ahead of time, right? And you feel out the person to see, hey, how do you deal with conflict, whether it will work, this, that, and the third. But anyways, yes, that is one of the major ways to figure it out, the housing in DC, and find housing. And then when you find that place, whether it's on Facebook or on Zillow or whatever website, go and visit, y'all. Go and visit and try to get a feel for the area. You want to live in an area that you feel comfortable in. You know what I mean? Even if you don't commute and you drive everywhere, you still want to be somewhere where you feel comfortable walking around. But be mindful of your habits. If you're someone who frequents a lot of places at night or sometimes comes back home late, be mindful of the area you're gonna live in, because you already know what your living habits are and how you move. So you wanna go ahead and create the safest space for you and a space that makes you feel the most comfortable. So I highly, highly suggest that you don't just look at the apartment, but when you're there, feel out the area, walk around the block a little bit, just circle the block, you know, keep your eyes out, you know, you just want to know, you want to feel comfortable. You want to feel comfortable. And also look at the concierge and those people too, like, are they friendly? Do they seem like when you call them with a problem that they might help you out? Because I know that job's tough, but like, just silly stuff like that, you know, everybody, obviously this works, so everybody's not going to be like, oh, chipper, you know, but just feel it out. See, is this somewhere I could really see myself living and feeling comfortable in? So yes, that is what I would say, you guys. But let me know if you guys want another video about how to find housing in DC. If you guys want some apartment hunting videos, let me know. I'm kind of cooking something. I'm kind of cooking something up, because y'all saw before that I had moved. So let me know if you want to see a video of like searching for the apartments and like the tours that my roommate and I went on and everything. Because your girl has been filming, but I need to know if you guys want to see it, if you guys not want to see it. But yes, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like this video and comment down below what other videos you want to see me do. You see how I just was running with my words. Happens to me all the time. All right, bye.